American civil rights activist Rosa Parks took a stand, there was Claudette Colvin. Colvin is currently retired in the Coastal Bend, and we walked down memory lane leading us to March 2nd, 1955 in Montgomery, Alabama. 9 months before Parks' arrest, Colvin was taking a bus home from school when the driver ordered her and 3 other black students to give up their row of seats to a white passenger. She told me her classmates reluctantly moved, but Colvin refused. This action led to her arrest and a historic legal battle, which ended up at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled bus segregation was in violation of the 14th Amendment.
I survived. I do believe that Jesus was standing by me. Jesus has sent an angel to protect me because I was doing the right thing.
Colvin is considered an unsung hero of the civil rights movement. Her story isn't as widely known as Rosa Parks, but that could change. Make sure you join us tonight at 6 o'clock for a special Women's History Month report to hear more from Colvin and learn about her exciting news for the future.
Before there was Rosa Parks, there was Claudette Colvin.
I survived a lot of injustice.
The local civil rights activist speaks to Michelle Lorenzo about her struggles during segregation. Tonight at 6.
If you take some time to get to know your neighbors, you might learn that you actually live next to someone who made a huge contribution to American history. Claudette Colvin may seem to be living a quiet life in the Coastal Bend, but soon she'll be the main character in a movie. Hollywood will highlight her courageous actions, which changed the course of history during a time of injustice. I'm Michelle Lorenzo in your neighborhood with this special Women's History Month report.
Work with us, Bill.
I want to let the people know that I was working, trying to support my family. And I can see the fruit of my labor through my children, my 2 boys, and my grandchildren.
Claudette Colvin is a retired nurse aide living in the Coastal Bend. To get where she's at today, she endured many struggles throughout her early life. As she took me down memory lane, it led us to Montgomery, Alabama, 68 years ago. At that time, Jim Crow laws were enforced, legalizing racial segregation.
Although they said separate but equal, it was everything separate and unequal. Color signs was tacked on the door of restaurants. They was in stores. We had to go to the color section just to get an ice cream cone.
A Montgomery city law also required racial segregation on public transportation. But before American civil rights activist Rosa Parks took a stand, 15-year-old Colvin stayed in her seat. She remembers the exact day.
March the 2nd, 1955.
9 months before Rosa Parks' arrest, Colvin was taking a bus home from school when the driver ordered her and 3 other black students to give up their row of seats to a white passenger.
I was sitting near the window in the opposite aisle, so if this lady wanted to sit down, she could sit in the opposite me, but she wasn't going to sit opposite me.
Colvin said her classmates reluctantly moved, but she refused.
The squad car policeman come on the bus and asked me why I'm sitting there, and I said, it's my constitutional rights. And he said, constitutional right 1. They knocked my books out of my lap. They manhandled me off the bus.
Colvin was then handcuffed, arrested, and booked into a local jail. 2 of the 3 charges were dropped. However, a charge for assaulting a police officer stayed on her record until it was expunged more than 6 decades later in 2021.
When I got back to school, they said, Claudette, you was crazy. You was crazy, girl. They could have killed you. I said, I didn't think about it. I said, I didn't think about death.
Instead, her mind lingered on lessons from her teachers. In school, she learned about prominent figures of the past who fought for justice.
Harriet Tubman, she was my favorite because she was a brave woman. She led a lot of Africans to freedom.
Colvin herself is considered a pioneering activist, part of a movement fighting for equality. The 84-year-old 54-year-old is currently one of 2 survivors of the first federal court case challenging bus segregation in Montgomery. The Supreme Court ruled bus segregation was in violation of the 14th Amendment in the Browder versus Gale case.
I survived. I do believe that Jesus was standing by me. Jesus has sent an angel to protect me because I was doing the right thing.
The public will be able to witness Ms. Colvin's heroic moment in history on the big screen with a movie called Spark. Anthony Mackie, best known for his role as Sam Wilson in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, will direct the film, starring Sanaya Sidney, who will portray Claudette Colvin. The movie's release date has yet to be announced, but when I talked to Ms. Colvin about it, you have a movie coming out.
Yes.
Words could hardly describe her excitement.
It's in here in my heart, I feel it. I really feel it. But I just want to be able to, God, let me live long enough to see it produced.
No matter how many times or different ways her story is told, Ms. Colvin hopes it will help people learn about the past to better the future. She also hopes her experience will inspire younger generations to fight for what they believe is right. In your neighborhood from Corpus Christi, I'm Michelle Lorenzo, Chris 6 News.